All right. Just telling everybody I'm coming on. People don't understand the sign. It happened reverse April 8th with the wedding ring diamond on the top. This means the door is closed. Okay, this is the sun, the black gold sun. This is the true sun, but it doesn't give its light. It's hidden sun. This is bordello. This is where we all come from. This porthole right here. Okay? And that's what moves us. We could go through that wherever that goes. We're connected to it. And now it's on the bottom. I'm going to show you, and it's see-through. It has a cloak. This is all of us, bordello. Okay? Now this is where everything comes from when it comes from heaven. This is a window. Okay? And it's telling you that the wedding supper's the spirit, the diamond there you see on the bottom, is in the people. People are what they are right now. There ain't going to be very few changing anymore. Okay? Everybody's made their decision on the questions. The questions were all over the place. If you believed in Jesus was the one that saved you and died for your sins, and you worshiped him, then you're the fake Christian. You're only to worship your Father. Okay? So that there is bordello. Okay? And the diamond is on the bottom. April 8th, the diamond was on the top saying that the pearl, see the pearl there? That's very significant because on April 8th this year, it was at the top. Right here. And that's to say that all the pearls and angels are here. The return is here. Okay? And they're looking for a man called Jesus. There is no man called Jesus. This is where we come from. This is our porthole. Okay? And it's telling us that all the spirit is in the people right now, down below. As above, they were above. Now they're below. They're in the people. Okay? Now I got a moon thing to show you guys. This is weirder than heck. These are signs that happen only at the end. Now the moon is opening up. It's opened up like a flower, and there's some big angels coming out of it. This stuff, I saw it split in half one day myself and something come out of it. But now it's huge. And it's really noticeable. And there's colored lights coming out of it. So everything's here. Okay? Like I've been saying, I've known this for a while. Everything's set up. And angels are deploying inside of people today. Big angels. Because that's who they were. And those ones are going to be hidden. Okay? So we're going to continue in the book. This is a great book. Baruch Book 2. There's 3 Baruchs. We're going to continue in the Baruch. Because it's talking about exactly where we are. Exactly. We just passed the part that explained it, yesterday's teaching. How does it put you right where you are? Well, you see, the people don't think that the Father's going to tell them that everybody's going to die. Well, that doesn't happen. Yes, it does. He's been telling through me for 7, 8 years, going on 8 years on this channel. And I think it should have ended last year. The time is so ticking, and people are getting ready physically to see these things when they're unseen with the naked eye. Why do you think it's called the naked eye? Because you can't see the real things. The real things are not seen. The real angels coming to us, you can't see them. If you had an angel visit you and he was light, you had a bad angel visit you. See, they come looking like an angel of light every time. I've never had that. I've never seen it, but felt it. All right. Now, Lisa had it come in her presence, but she didn't understand what it was until she asked me what it was. And I told her that was you. That was your ring with a triangle and a square. All right, so let's get going. So, and do not expect to rejoice nor condemn. Okay, I'm going to move down further. And it came to pass after these things that I, Baruch, was standing upon Mount Zion, and lo, a voice came forth from the height and said unto me, that is your angel. That's your gut feeling. Stand upon your feet, Baruch, and hear the word of the mighty God. See, God was closer then. Okay? Now he's all out further. See, they were using, the Father was using their angels a long time ago before Christ came. And they were seeing their angels. Okay? He does it differently now. Because it might freak people out. Okay? So, back then, their circle helped them closely. So they had it a little bit different until Jesus died. This is one of the things he did. It's kind of hidden. So because you have been astonished at what has befallen Zion, you shall therefore be assuredly preserved to the consummation of times, end of times. You see that? You're being preserved from the beginning to the end. Told you right there, preserved to the consummation of time. That's ending of time. That you may be for a testimony. See, for that is ever those. Okay, so that if ever those. A testimony. It's very important if you're talking to someone to tell them where you came from and what the Father's done for you, where you are now. You must keep a testimony. Did you know that? You must have a testimony to witness to somebody. It's the same thing as a witness. You must witness it out to receive any, or else it might go cold on you. What you've been given is not to just put in a jar and leave on the side. You got to teach people. If somebody that you love is a Christian and they're doing something wrong towards being sinning, then you are to correct them. If they're teaching something wrong, You are not to look away from that. You have to judge it. See, people are going to get in trouble for not doing that because that's what the church teaches you. But you got to know how to judge it righteously. Okay? So you need that testimony so that if ever those preposterous cities say, why had the mighty God brought upon us this retribution? That's what they all say. We don't have to go through it. Nobody goes through God's wrath. Everybody goes through wrath. You're born in it. There's never a wave that I don't have tossed at me at this trip, constantly, over and over and over. So say you to them, you those like you who shall be seeing this evil. This is the evil and the retribution which is coming upon you and upon the people in this destined time, that the nations may be thoroughly smitten, and they shall be in anguish. And if they say at that time, this is where we're coming. Words are turning red. For how long? You will say to them, you who have drunk the strained wine. He took the potency out of the wine, made it weak. You're not to take the potency out of the word and make it weak. That's taking the keys out. That's what they did with the Bible. If you understood the Bible right from the get-go, it would be really easy. So drink also ye of its dregs. The judgment of the lofty one, who was no respecters of person. That's all of us. The lofty one. We're one. On this account, he had aforetime no mercy on his own sons, because he gave them the time to prepare the table, and they didn't use the tools. So they weren't listening when they were sitting up there to the right Father. Because he said, I'm going to give you all this stuff. Don't let it sit in your cabinet, because it'll rust. Or the cankerworm and the moth will eat it and give rust to it. That's what he's talking about. If you're given something and you keep it inside, who are you keeping it for? That's what this is about. This is your works now. It's been given to you. That's how it works. So, but afflicted them as his enemies because they sinned. Then, therefore, they were chastened. This happens to every Christian. If you're not Christian and this isn't happening to you, you're not a Christian. And you sinned. Says it straight out. That they might be sanctified. Because it hurts. And when you start realizing that, you get tired of actually doing the sin. It bores you now. You've replaced it with light. That's what I've done. This is light to me. That stuff's boring. I don't listen to anything but the Apocrypha and the Nag Hammadi books over and over and over and over every day. So, but now you people and nations are guilty because you have always trodden down the earth. The people, he's not talking about you've trodden down the earth physically. You've trodden down the people on the earth. They won't understand that. The Father doesn't care if they trodden down this earth. Satan does, because it's his. So what he's talking about is you've always trodden down the children of God. of the Father, the great Father, and use the creation unrighteously, which just happened to me. The guy said this vehicle has been rebuilt from top to bottom. We crack it open, and it's a bucket, a rusted old can. $30,000 restrained me for, I think it's 6 years that we have to pay for it. I have to sell it for $8,000. It won't sell for any more. It's a rusted old bucket. It's been a curse to me. I'm just using this. And, well, this one's been rebuilt. We opened it up and stuff is taped on with Scotch tape. And you're telling me you rebuilt it and there's a hole in the box of the van from one end almost to the other. What are you going to do with that? Many holes. And it cost me $30,000. That's a year and a half of working. And he spitefully used me, tricked me, and I got to take the blame for it. I can't go to him and say, you lied. And he lied everything about that truck. It turned out to be a tin can whale. And I forgive him. That's not why I'm using it. But he spitefully used me. He used the creation because we found each other to be friends through the Father. You see? And then he slipped me up like peanut butter on a bread over top of holes. And he slicked it up and he made it look like there were no holes. But then we got it apart and found that it was a pop can with $12,000, $13,000 worth of work that has to be done on it. It's basically a write-off. He sold me a lemon. And he's a friend of the family. My wife said, well, we should have brought someone there. It's your fault. No, it's not. If the person's lying to you about what shape it's in, then whose fault do you think it is? You see, they're turning things around, evil for good and good for evil. It would be evil for me to mention something to this guy, how bad you scammed me. It wouldn't be evil if I did it right. And I can do it right because I'm not upset at him or mad or hate him. I would just straight out and tell him and leave it there at that. It's just cost me $30,000 for something that was trash. It had nothing that you told me it had to come with it. And he knew it because you know your vehicles. Anyone that looks at a vehicle, they look underneath now. They don't skip by looking underneath. I didn't because I believed him. If I would have seen what was underneath that beast, I wouldn't have bought the devil van. Anyways, let's move on. So for I always have benefited you, and you always have been ungrateful for the beneficence. So if he's given you the word, what's he saying if you're not giving? Now, we're in a time that you're not going to be able to. Okay? Unless you have some people listening with you. If you don't, you're not going to be able to teach this stuff. It's way too high. So, and I answered and said, lo, you have shown me the method of the times and that which shall be after these things. And you have said unto me that the retribution which has been spoken by you shall come upon the nations. Do you see that? You spoken the retributions. You told the Father this guy did this to you. He knows the retribution coming to these people, what happened to me. And actually don't wish it upon him. because he suppressed me for very many years. And you're not to do that for a little bit of time to one of God's children. And he's never said sorry. So I got to make it look like I'm the liar. And I'm going to prove a fact. Not to prove anything, actually. Just to be mild and meek. Because I'm not. 20 years ago, I'd have been knocking on his door. Okay. So, and now I know that those who have sinned are many. Because not doing works is like sinning. It's being disobedient. Because everybody has to do some. If you've tried every connection to do it, then you have to wait on the Lord. Okay? So the best thing you can do is just prepare like we're doing now. It's hard to get people to understand the true Bible because it doesn't show the truth at all. It takes a long time to find the truth out of it. And they have lived in poverty and departed from the world. But few nations will be left in those times, to whom those words shall he said, which you did say. For what advantage is there in this, or what evil worse than what we have seen befall us? Are we to expect to see? I already see it. But again, I will speak in your presence. What have they profited who had knowledge before and have not walked in vanity? The rest of the nations. And we haven't. And have not said to the dead, give us life, but always feared you. Why would you say you come from this earth? You came from a dead man if you came from this earth. But always feared you, and you have not left your ways. And lo, see, this is when you get that spirit in you. You really can't leave your ways. The reins are on you tight. You can't go back when you've seen what we've seen on this channel. You can't go back to that cotton candy teaching. It's going to drive you insane. You're going to need to hear what this channel and the Lord teaches. And lo, they have been carried off, nor on their account have you had mercy on Zion. And if the others did evil, it was done to Zion. Us, we're Zion. That on the account of the works of those who wrought good works, she should be forgiven. Stop. It covers sins. And you just do it on that timing. Like, for me, it's every day, but I'm not doing it to cover sins, but it's going to. You know what I mean? I don't do it for a present. No. If you do it for a present from heaven, you're going to get a stone on the back of your neck. You do it because you love the people. Remember, the motive is the most important. And should not be overwhelmed on the account of the works of those who wrought unrighteousness. So don't be. If they're unrighteous, let them be. If you've done what you could and you said, I wouldn't do that because it's just not what I do. That's not the spirit in me. But, oh Lord, whenever it does that, my Lord, here it goes again. That's your Lord talking to you, not Jesus Christ. Will comprehend your judgment. That's why it does it. It says it twice. It has it big letters, oh Lord, and then in small letters. My Lord. Did he say everybody else's Lord? No. See, that one little word, my Lord, they pass it by. And they say, Jesus, Lord. They fill the gap with the name of a fleshly man, which we're not looking on fleshly things. We're only looking spiritual. They don't look at themselves and they give it all to Jesus when they're Jesus. You see the problem? The gods that they're following are not the same gods that we are. Ours are our forefathers, us, and the great Father. So comprehend your judgment, or who will search out the profoundness of your way? They can never know it, so let them try to search it out. Nobody knows anybody's heart. Nobody can find out the trueness of a heart. You want to bet? You'll grow to the point where you'll see the black star in the heart. But when you get to that part, you have to keep it zipped and still give love and respect. I'm not a respecter of persons either. But I don't treat evil on evil. So, or who will think out of the weight of your path? The weight of your path. The weight of my path was heavy, where I was choking, where in one of my dreams I could barely breathe because of the evil around me, sucking in what little life I could get out of the word, being strapped down on a deck on the water. It was quite an uncomfortable dream. I thought, who's that guy there? That must have been me in my first 5 years of Christianity. Sucky just to keep a hold of the Father's toenail. Barely cling on with every exhaustion it caused me. And that's what he's looking for. Ones that will go through stuff and stop going through it because they've been through it. And tell everybody. So, or you will think out of the weight of your path, or who will be able to think out your incomprehensible counsel. See, you're incomprehensible. Anytime he talks about God, isn't he incomprehensible? That's you. Your God, your Christ head is you. And it gives you everything. It's sitting with the angels under the Father's feet, protecting the heavens of heavens right now. And it's come down to the earth. It's all here. Father's behind it. 2 rainbows. One's Bordello, the sun, and the other one's the Father. So, or who of those are born has ever found the beginning or the end of your wisdom? See, now it's your wisdom. What? God's wisdom. Just told you who God was. He's you. You start to when you grow. Okay. For we have all been made like a breath, for as a breath ascends involuntarily, and again it dies. And again it dies. For as a breath ascends involuntary. Yeah, it's fighting, going back, because it's learning how to understand the way you descend is the same way you ascend. So we didn't do it involuntarily, but we didn't realize we volunteered. It's really lagging right now. And again dies. So it is with nature of man who departs not according to their own will. We depart at our own will. Did you know that? When we're filled. That's our will of our angel, which is you. and know not what will befall them in the end. They don't know. This is why they're panicked. This is why they panic and try to get works out. And if they're false, then all they're doing is filling their boot full of sand to sink to the bottom. Because you can't give out false fruit. It causes your death yourself, worse than the ones you're giving it to. So for the righteous justly hope for the end. See, there we're going. We're looking for a corpse. We're looking to die. We don't seek to save our life. We're looking for this flesh to die. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. If you have fear of it, you'll go into the pit of hell. If you have fear of death, that's going to be a lot of people's last wrong decision. So, and without fear, depart from this habitation, because they have with you a store of works. You have that store of works. When end times comes, you don't think the Father gives those ones sitting at the very last minute of time, consummation of time, what to do? Oh, he's going to give you instruction list front to back as it comes, so that you can't go, the end's coming tomorrow. That's it. And he keeps you in the books. It'll happen to me over and over and over. This will be taught many different ways. This is Revelations. So preserved in the treasuries. You got it preserved in treasuries. My treasure's in heaven. Once again telling you, God, you, God. Your Godhead. That's your treasuries. And it tells you all over the Bible. My treasure's in heaven. Adding to my treasures in heaven. It's all over. Tells you in many different ways. All over the Bible. The Bible's 100% Gnostic gospel. But you got to know how to read it. On this account, always say, without fear, leave this world. We leave without fear and trusting with joy and hope. You're not leaving this world going to be afraid, are you? Which you have promised them. But as for us, woe to us who also are now shamefully entreated. We're not. That's all come out of us. So, and at the time, look forward only to evils. But you will accurately what you have done by the means of your servants, for you are not able to understand which is good. You art our Creator. You are our Creator. But again, I will speak ye in the presence. We are all our own Creator. In a way. Not like the Father. But we can spiritually create by planting seeds. There'll be now and again someone that will come and sit with you, and you have been the father of that seed, and you've watered it for its entire length. We sit in that precipice here in this channel. We have that. Okay. He always gives me something if I'm going to talk about something that's in that matter. So, and I'm going to keep quiet because I think everybody knows who he is. So, but again, I will speak in your presence, O Lord, my Lord. Once again said, O Lord, my Lord. Didn't say your Lord. Didn't say Metatron's Lord. It said, my Lord. O Lord, that means the circle. They put that there. It's actually Gnostic Gospels, O Lord. Because your God is a Lord, is a God, is a King, and the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You see? But the Father is too. He's the greatest out of all. So what we really are is just the sons of the great Father. So when of old there was world without its inhabitants. There wasn't this world. You did devise and speak with the word, and forthwith the works of the Creator stood before you. You got everything, and you are the works of the Creator. You stood before yourself and did say you wouldst make for you world man as the administrator of your works. You did agree, I'll go down and give out what you're administrating, giving me to go and give. This is what it's talking about, giving out what's given to you. You were purposed to get given to what you've been given to. If you're teaching somebody, you need to be, and if they're talking about wrong things, you need to be correcting them and taking their sight off false doctrine. This is the biggest thing, which I've been fighting because I knew false doctrine before I even knew my Bible, guys. It was crazy. Not quite, but you know what I'm saying. So that it might be known that he was by no means made on the account of the world, but the world on the account of him. The Father created our spirit on the account for you. That's his world and your world. That's what he's talking about. Not this one. This is earth. And see that it is for your world which was made on the account of us. Lo, it abides, but we on the account of whom it was made departed. We departed from the Father's world. A part of us did. It's like we're in stasis there. I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on with that one. I know it pours out on us, and it works on the middle with the middle guy, and the middle guy works with you. So, and the Lord answered, he said unto me, you are rightly astonished regarding the departure of a man, but you have not judged well regarding the evils which befall those who sin. See, you didn't do it well. You left it. You let that person preach that false doctrine. I've been teaching you guys this for years. The sword will come for you. So many people are going to fail because they took the works of the Father given to them and they hid them and they dug a hole and they turned to rust and broke. So, and on the regards, what have you said? The righteous are carried off and the impious are prospered. So the righteous will be carried off very soon. And they're going to all turn dark here. And then we're going to replay that war one last time. And you're going to see it from the beginning without seeing that you even lived on this earth. You're not even going to know that because that's the start of true time. Time never starts or time never ends. There is no time. Time hasn't started in heaven. Now there's a broken crack with the bubble sticking out. And nothing's really in it. It's all an illusion. So as a regard to you have said that the righteous are carried off and the impious are prospered. So we're carried off right now. I showed you the wedding ring on the bottom, the diamond. They're prospering. Boy, are they ever. This guy, he makes good money. And he took $15,000 from me. I can guarantee you he has about $200,000 in his account when I have $20. See the wrong? But that's not wrong. That's right. That's what it's supposed to be. They're prospering right now because it's taking their eye off of prospering like we are. We're building an ark, each and every one of us. So, man knows not your judgment on the account. Hear, and I will speak to you, and hearken. Man doesn't, but we understand it. Man would not rightfully have understood my judgment unless he had accepted the law. And I had instructed him in understanding, but now because he transgressed willingly, yea, just on the ground that he knows about it, shall be tormented. Yep. But it's made to happen. It's not explaining that part yet. It's made to happen because those things that torment you have to come out. So you have to know how to fight them. So you're going to have to do the sin. It's not explaining that right now. It's a part that's missing, but it's in many, 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 many books. Don't go out doing it on purpose. Okay? When it happens, you're weak. So it's not explaining that part. So as regards what you did say touching, you're covered because you're giving your works out. See, it talks about it backwards. It talks about what covers, because that was yesterday's. It said it straight out. Your work covers your sins, but you have to do it with love because love conquers all. It's not the act of doing it for anything but love. You see that? Not to cover your sins. You're going to get a kick in the back of the head for that. As regards what you did by touching, you did say, touching the righteous, that on the account of them has this world come. So also again shall that which is to come on their account. For this world is to them a strife and a labor with much trouble, and that accordingly, which is to come, a crown with great glory. Your glorified body is your crown. You, God, your Godhead, your Christ, is your crown. Your Son, Mother, and Father is your crown. It's the same thing. The Son of the living Father is your crown. Now you're the full Son. You're back again. Nobody's full Son yet until they're fully back, but they already are, if you get what I mean. You never did leave the fullness. Part of you did. It's a trick from Satan, yelled about. And the Lord answered and said unto me, with the Most High account is not taken of time, nor of a few years. The Most High account is not taken of time, or a few years. For what did it profit Adam that he lived 930 years and transgressed, which he was commanded? Therefore, the multitude of time that he lived did not profit him. It's not really profiting you. You're already full. But brought death and cut off his years of those who were born from him. Everybody's appointed to die. Wherein did Moses suffer loss, and he lived only 120 years? That would be good for me. And insomuch was subject to him who formed him, brought the law to the seed of Jacob, and lightened a lamp for the nation of Israel. You see, people light the lamps. Didn't mean they planted that seed. It means they're brought in certain times to lighten the lamp. And they take the news that sounds harsh and they say that's fear mongering. No, that's the good news, because it's coming to an end. And they create their own news, Mr. Donald Trump. You're busted. How do people believe that stuff? That's a quark. How do people believe that shots went by his ear and the people standing behind him didn't die? Those bullets would have killed someone, guys. There were people standing directly behind him. Intervention of God, they say, yeah, of the wrong one. That guy is not of God. They don't understand that. Anyways, even the churches don't. They pray for this reptile. They pray for demons. What are they doing? Praying to another God. The whole world's busy looking at other gods when their God themselves is going to come back. And if they find him not doing so, they're going to get a shadow. Especially in the time of the end, when Jesus warned them, he said, I'm going on the cross and you guys are falling asleep. What are you doing? So, and I answered and said, he that is lightened has taken from the light. You that are lightened took it from someone that had it, that stole it from you. That's what that means. And I answered and I said, he that is lightened has taken from the light. And from other people. If they're teaching truth, you're taking light from them. And there are but few that have imitated him. There we go with that. There's not a lot, man. But those many whom has lightened have taken from the darkness of Adam and have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp. It hasn't been. When you're taken from it, you're being punished most of the time. Or something's hurting or stuff's not going right. So you don't rejoice until you go through it. Once you get through it and you start seeing the truth of it, you start getting more joy. So when he answered, he said unto me, wherefore at the time he appointed for them a covenant and said at the beginning, he told you here again, you voluntary offered yourself. To be involuntary to go back because you don't know when you came in what you were going to volunteer for. Not easy. You can't go in and expect to be lazy. Behold, I have placed before you life and death. Which one you taking, the red one or the blue one? And he called heaven and earth to witness against them. That's us. For he knew he called us to witness against them, to use it as a witness. If someone does something to you and you know what they are, you are legal to even say their name. Yes, you are. You're to witness against them. See, this they tell them, oh, you're causing division. Not if you're already divided. If you're false teaching, and I'm coming in there and speaking to you, you best beware because you're false teaching if I say you are. That's one of the most understanding that I have. That's what is one of my biggest gifts that I have. It's like I can smell the blood of an Englishman. For he knew that this time was but short, but that heaven and earth endure always. Why does it say heaven endure? Because your angel's crying. It's not talking about you on the earth. You're enduring because of the angels you have above you. That's the only reason. Not because any other man. Because the Father gave you a father and he gave you a mother, two different parts of you, female and male. And he kept one up there for you. He did absolutely everything. There's not one single man that did anything for anybody if you really want to look at it. But because he shared it and gave packages, in those packages that the people have, give them the same light because it comes from the same being, our grandfather. So, but after his death, they sinned and transgressed. They knew that he had the law reproving them. See, you have to. And the light in which nothing could err. You get to the point where you can't err anymore. Also, the spheres will testify, and me. The sphere is God, you. You have a sphere. Turn it sideways, it looks like a pizza pie. But it can change shapes in different forms. It can do magic stuff. Now, regarding everything that is, and it is true, it's magical. I judge, but do not you take counsel in your soul regarding these things, nor afflict thyself because of those which have been. See, I'm using for a witness at this guy, but it's not creating any anger with me. I've already forgiven before the damage was done. I already expected nothing from lots. Okay? So for now, it is the consummation of time, right? We're sitting right there, guys. That should be considered, whether of business. You should be considered what time at the end time. Once a week, it's considering nothing. You're building nothing. You're building a cardboard boat. That's not going to get you anywhere. Or of prosperity or of shame. They're too busy. They're prospering. See, he's got them all. Even the false Christians, I know one is put all of her mind to a course. She'd been taken off the course and putting on the world course. So of shame or not the beginning thereof. So whether or of business or of prosperity or of shame and not the beginning thereof. Because if a man prospered in his beginnings and shamefully entered in his old age, he forgets all the prosperity that he had. And again, if a man is shamefully entreated in his beginning and at his end is prospered, that's us. My whole entire life. And still. So what is he saying? If a man at the beginning, here's what I'm going to tell you, has been treated rotten and he's 53-year-old and is still the same, then you're doing good. He remembers not his evil. Entirely his beginning and at his end is prospered. And he remembers not his evil again. Do you see? No matter what you've done, you're living in a new day. You can't go back on it. All that's doing is taking faith away. And trust me, I've done it lots of times. Well, now I did something wrong. I'm failing. Don't do that. That's backstepping too much. So enter in treatment and again hearken those each one who were prospered at all the time and all the time from the day which death was decreed against those who transgressed. And that was from the beginning. Everybody was to die. That was already judged. And in his end was destroyed in vain and would have been everything in vain. It's one of the hardest things because motives people don't understand. Love they don't understand. So I therefore behold the days come, and the time shall hasten more than the former. It'll go faster. It is. Everybody's noticing time. And the seasons shall speed on more than those that are past, which is happening. And the years shall pass more quickly than the present years. And everybody's noticing that there. Therefore have I now taken away Zion. This is coming. Only for a twinkling. It's going to be a twinkling. The washing your eyes is going to happen so fast. And you're just going to be in the war that really didn't, that was over. And we're going to finish it from start to finish. Because it never really started. It did, but it's already finished. That's the trick to it. That I may, and that is like only the Father can do that. That I may more speedily visit the world in its season. Now, therefore, hold fast in your heart everything that I command to you. And we're already here. Bordello's here, showing the spirits are in the people. The door is shut. And a seal in it recesses of your mind. You got seals. You got 5 of them. Okay. End time people have 6. They need that extra baggage, which this is. And then I show you the judgment of my might. That's us. We'll be showing them. And may ways which are unsearchable. Go therefore and sanctify thyself 7 days. Eat no bread. Have no sin. Don't listen to false teachers, nor drink of their water, nor speak to anyone about God. This is when some days this happens to me. Never on here, but out there. And afterwards come to the place I will reveal myself to you, and I will speak true things with you. And I will give commandment regarding the method of the times, for they are coming, and they tarry not. You can't ever say God is delaying his coming, because that's where the weeping and gnash coming in. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna eat something here. Have a little snooze. Maybe I'll probably be back on in no time at all. I'm just gonna be doing little shows like this today. All right. So you're kept. See you real soon. Might be sooner than we think here.